Hello and welcome back to Level Up Rugby. Today we are talking about kicking tee height. Now, just like a golfer teeing off, kicking tee height can have a significant effect on the way that you biomechanically kick the ball. For example, if you're coming from a more footballing background, you may tend to naturally have a slightly lower swing arc trajectory, striking the ball with more of a side foot, strike foot position, sweeping the grass as you come into contact. Now, if this is comfortable for you, stick with it initially, because like I always say, comfort is key. However, if you're looking to increase the potential for greater distance on your goal kicking, you may look to utilize a higher kicking tee. Now, this is for two specific reasons. First of all, a higher kicking tee allows you greater room around the ball to create that plantar flex strike foot position that everyone talks about. Now, why is it important to achieve a plantar flex strike foot position? Well, if you could achieve a plantar flex strike foot position, when you come into contact with the ball, it is a solid force. It's not a floppy foot, it is a hard, solid, strong force being punched into the back of the ball. Now, a hard foot being put into a soft object will therefore create a greater indent on the back of the ball, like I talk about so much. Utilising the ball's potential to its maximum will generate greater distance for you. People call it a sweet strike. To break it down and understand the concept of a sweet strike, it is where you are achieving a great indent up the back of the ball, pushing into it, and then the ball is pinging off of your foot. You're not just kicking it, it is kicking itself off of your foot. So therefore, a plantar flex strike foot position is a stronger force and therefore will generate you more power. And how is it more achievable on a higher kicking tee? Well, as you can imagine, your foot can't travel through the ground. Physics doesn't allow it. You can't travel through the ground. Therefore, if you're kicking off a lower kicking tee, assuming ceteris paribus, you must bring your foot parallel to the ground to strike the ball in the most optimal position. However, if you're kicking off a higher kicking tee, the ball is sitting higher and therefore allows you this room to strike the ball at a higher position, and your foot doesn't have to travel through the ground because it can completely miss it, if that makes sense. So therefore, plantar flex strike position not only is a stronger position to be in, but is more achievable through utilising a higher kicking tee. Second of all, kicking the ball on the upswing. Now, what is the upswing? Well, there are three portions to your swing arc trajectory. There is the downswing coming in towards the ball, you have the baseline, which is the point of the ball, and then you have your upswing, which is everything beyond that. Now, using the analogy of a plane taking off, when is a plane at its greatest velocity, traveling at its fastest speed? Just as its wheels lose contact with the ground and it pulls away into the air. Now, this is the same for your swing. Your foot is traveling at its greatest foot speed, its greatest velocity, just as it's taking off, just as it comes off the ground and leaves the grass behind it. So therefore, foot speed into the ball generates more power, and therefore more power generates greater distance on your kick. So kicking the ball on the upswing is very important to achieving greater distance on your kick. Now, the main contributing factor to kicking on the upswing is actually your plant foot. So I'm covering that in another video, so check that out once you're done here. However, kicking tee height can take some of the burden. So again, assuming ceteris paribus, your kicking tee height, if higher off the ground, allows you greater runway up to the ball to meet the ball sitting in a higher place. Your foot has to travel further to reach it, therefore enabling you to strike the ball more easily on that upswing. So therefore, for these two reasons, a higher kicking tee allows you to generate more power and more distance on your kick. However, all of this being said, too high of a kicking tee for your natural body composition and your natural lever length is actually a negative thing. If you pick too high of a kicking tee for your length of lever, your body has to adjust for this, and it makes it uncomfortable and awkward. So say, for example, this is my natural tee height, nice and low here. Assuming ceteris paribus again, if I'm coming to strike the ball here, I'm kicking with my quad, the strongest part of my leg. That is the most optimal muscle to utilise to generate the greatest power. I'm coming in swinging naturally through, and I'm getting through the ball. However, if I'm kicking now off a higher kicking tee that I'm not used to, assuming ceteris paribus, your kicking foot, the angle between your plant foot leg and your strike foot leg now has to become greater to meet this now higher tee. Now the ball sitting higher to strike it in the most optimal position. Therefore, you are utilising a greater proportion of your groin compared to your quadricep, and this is not going to generate you the most power. So what I'm trying to say is pick the tee height again that allows you to utilise those two benefiting factors of plantar flex, strike for position, and kicking on the upswing, but not to the point where you're uncomfortably striking the ball like a goalkeeper in football and coming across the ball. That's not optimal for goal kicking in rugby. Try and push the boundaries, but don't go beyond them. Understand yourself, understand comfort, and utilise those two factors. See you next time.